Hey everybody, welcome back to the Light Side Music Reactions. Today we are reacting to another new artist to the channel. We are reacting to a song by the Wet Willie Band, and this is a live performance of their song Trust in the Lord that was on the Midnight Special TV show on July 5th, 1974. So when this originally came out, I was less than a year old. So that gives you a general idea of how long ago that's been. Anyway, it also tells you how old I am, approximately. But anyway, Wet Willie is an American Southern rock band from Mobile, Alabama. And their best known song, Keep On Smiling, reached number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in August 1974. And so that's the only thing I know about them because I just looked it up. I'd never heard of them before, never heard of this song before. This is all new to me, but it popped up on my YouTube recommendations. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the Midnight Special, it was a late night musical variety show, originally broadcast on NBC from 1972 to 1981. And so let's go ahead and get into this. This is the Wet Willie Band performing Trust in the Lord on the Midnight Special from July 5th, 1974. And here we go. Okay, interesting sound here. Yeah, it's definitely got that Southern rock flair. When you're done checking out this reaction, go over to the link in the description and you can watch the original video on YouTube of this performance. The lead singer, he's wearing blue bib overalls, kind of the down-home country look, over a bright red long-sleeve shirt. And then he's got the band backing him up, a couple females singing backup. Looked like one of them had a tambourine, or maybe the lead singer has a tambourine. I can't tell from this angle right now. And you got a bass player there, and a guy on the organ, and great big bright red letters, Wet Willie, behind him. If you're not familiar with the Wet Willie, when we were kids, the Wet Willie was when somebody would come up to you, they'd lick their finger and stick it in your ear. They called that a Wet Willie. Not to give the kids these days any ideas. That was just kind of a little goofy prank that kids used to do to each other back in the 70s and 80s. But anyway, let's take a look at the lyrics here. Christ, some of these look kind of not quite exactly the way it is. Christ went to the well on the hill to show the woman her sin. Okay, talking about the woman at the well. Got that. The devil, he went there too to try to make her jump in. Okay. Well, that's not actually part of the story. It doesn't. The story in the Bible doesn't say anything about the devil being there trying to get her to jump into the well. But if you're thinking in metaphorical, taking a little bit of poetic license with it, you could say that the devil was influencing her in her life, and he was trying to lead her astray. I wouldn't go as far as to say he was trying to get her to jump into the well to commit, don't want to say the word here on YouTube for censorship reasons. Might get my video blocked or, demonetized or something. Not that this channel's monetized anyway, it's not. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that line right there isn't really theologically correct. Yeah, I mean, people take poetic license with music all the time, and so I'm going to let that one slide. She kept her feet on solid ground like the man in the shifting sand. Okay, mixing up a couple stories there, but it's good metaphors. The man in the shifting sand is a reference, I take it, to the story that Jesus told, the parable of the man that built his house upon the rock was a wise man. And so when the storms of life came along and tried to blow away the house, it was standing there solid after the rains came down and the storms came up, and it was still, and the floods came up, and the house was still standing strong because it was built on solid ground. But the man that built his house on the sand, when the storm came out and the floods came up and the rains came down, it blew the house away because the house wasn't solid, didn't have a firm foundation. So he's using that allegory here to say, like the man on the shifting sand, she kept her feet on solid ground. Well, actually, it's kind of the opposite of that. They even messed up the metaphor here. It says, she kept her feet on solid ground like the man in the shifting sand. The man in the shifting sand didn't have his feet on solid ground. That was the whole point. The man that was in the shifting sand, his house got blown away. So if she kept her feet on solid ground, she wouldn't be like the man in the shifting sand. She'd be like the other man. She'd be unlike the man in the shifting sand. So their lyrics here aren't exactly quite right. I get what they're going for, though, and I appreciate the effort. Trust in the Lord, and he will tuck you under his wing and fly you home. That appears to be also another reference to a quote by Jesus where he said, "O Jerusalem, how I wish that you would let me take you under my wing like a mother hen," sort of thing. I want to protect you like a mother hen protects her chicks. It was another parable, an allegory, metaphor that he was using to say, I want to protect you from yourself, from your own destruction that you're walking into, and yet you won't have me. You won't follow me to safety. It's like the mother duck that tries to go after her little duckling and say, follow me, stop straying away. But the little duckling doesn't listen, just keeps swimming off the opposite direction. That's kind of like the metaphor they're using here. So trust in the Lord and he will tuck you under his wing and fly you home. So I like that line. Very good. They got that one right. Okay, now let's go on and get into the second verse. Oh, that outfit. Okay, I like the oohs. It's definitely got that 70s flair to it. The outfit I commented on there. The couple ladies they've got backing him up. The one girl, she's wearing like a blue long sleeve shirt that's unbuttoned in the front, and then her top is showing underneath. It's not excessively revealing, but I imagine it would probably be pretty risque for the day, for the early 70s. But then again, you're coming right out of the late 60s free love movement, so who knows? I'm sure there's a lot more risque outfits that people were wearing those days. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on that real quick. I noticed that right off. But anyway, lyrics here. Just like Jonah and the whale, you can be hurt by a lie. Okay, Jonah and the whale, hurt by a lie. Okay, the story of Jonah. What was the lie that he was hurt by? Unless it was him lying to himself. Because the story of Jonah and the whale was one where God told him to go to Nineveh and to save those people, to preach to them. But Jonah didn't want to go because he thought they were wicked and they deserved to die. And he said, I don't want to go preach to them. Why would I go preach to them? Just let them go. Let them die. And God said, no, I want you to go there and preach to them and give them a second chance. Give them an opportunity to accept me and turn around. And he didn't think they deserved it. And of course, they don't. They didn't. And we don't. We don't deserve second chances from God, but that's God's love. That's God's grace. He gives us second chances. And I talked about this in another video I reacted to recently. You can watch that one for more details. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to get into it now. But unless the lie was, I guess he didn't really lie to the fishermen either. When they asked, who is causing this storm? Is it you? And he admitted to him. He said, yes, I'm the one. He said, I'm on the run from God. That's why he sent this storm. And so they ended up throwing him overboard. So he was hurt by the truth. He wasn't hurt by a lie. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going for with this line. Just like Jonah the whale, you can be hurt by a lie. The devil might be your friend, but the devil loves to see you cry. Okay, so the devil's not actually your friend. He's just pretending to be a friend. He's not a real friend. And I guess that's what they're trying to say here. Just like the woman who turned to salt, and of course that was Lot's wife in the book of Genesis, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. As the angels were leading them away, they told them, don't look back at the city. If you look back, then it'll be trouble for you. Well, she looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. And that's the story like that. Just like the woman who turned to salt, the Spirit was leading her, trying to plead with her. Okay. That's just like the way it was. And then, Jesus walked through the... Okay, next verse. Boy, the outfits those days. Styles sure have changed. Real bright colors, kind of pastels. Very creative on their outfits. The styles back then. Okay, key change. Oh, there's a mistake. Oh, a lot of soul in that. High energy makes you want to dance along. Makes you want to sing along. Fly you home. Fly you home. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. Holding out, milking that last line. Don't. All right. Okay. And that's it. Let's go ahead and analyze that last verse, because I noticed a couple things in that too. Jesus walked through the crowd one fine day. A man reached out and touched his robe and got saved that way. Okay, what's wrong with that? It wasn't a man, it was a woman. A woman reached out and touched his robe and was healed. And the story says that Jesus felt the power leave his body and enter into her, the power of the Holy Spirit. And he reached out and he said, who touched me? And everybody thought, oh, what are you, crazy? It's like everybody's touching you. You're in this crowd of hundreds and hundreds of people all thronging around you. And he said, no, somebody touched me and I felt the Spirit enter into their body, go from mine into theirs. And it was this woman that had faith in him that thought, if I can only just touch the hem of his robe, then I will be healed. And that was the power of her faith in God that healed her. And so they're doing a good job telling these stories, or at least it's a good attempt. But there's a lot of little mistakes in here. And that's not one that you can really excuse the poetic license. I mean, it's not a huge deal, the difference between a man and a woman in the big scheme of things, as far as the narration goes. But as far as poetic license-wise, there's no reason to say a man instead of a woman. You could fit woman in there just as easily as the word man, and it's not going to hurt the song musically. And so that's just with all the different with that many errors in it from the veracity of the story. I don't know. I got to question it. You know, they either didn't read the stories, they've heard the story one time 30 years ago when they were children and decided to put a song together based on the memory without looking up the story to refresh their memory, or they just didn't care. They just threw it all together. But either way, it's a good attempt. Theologically, I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference in the big picture, but all those little things coming together, all the little inaccuracies, kind of rubs me the wrong way, especially since I'm a pastor. I know the stories and I know how it's supposed to be. And so, musically, it's very energetic. The band looks cool. They're having a good time on stage. You can feel the energy, and it makes you want to tap your foot and sing along. It's really cool to look back to the 70s and see the styles, the clothes they're wearing, the bright colors, and just to see how fashion has changed over the years. And you just watch 10, 15 years down the road, this next generation is probably going to pick up on some of those fashion trends from back in the day, and they're going to bring some of those things back. It just goes in cycles. They'll call it vintage or retro or whatever, and some kids will think it's cool and they'll start a trend again. Anyway, that was, let's go ahead and bring this back up. That was the Wet Willie Band performing Trust in the Lord on the Midnight Special from July 5th, 1974. So did you enjoy this reaction? If you did, hit the like button. Comment down below. Give me a recommendation on what you'd like to see me react to. And hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications so that you'll know when we add new content. And when you're all done with all that, subscribe and comment stuff. Head over to the link in the description and check out the original video on YouTube in its entirety. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Light Side Music Reactions. Bye, everybody.